Every Tuesday, live from 8 p.m. UK time.
Well, I'm actually going to just interrupt there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Tuesday, so just listen to the rest of this jingle. But it's not Tuesday; it's Monday. Hold on.
Gary and a couple of
Well, yeah, it's not Luke either. It's Matt, Gary, and a couple of microphones. But I'll just play this again, and you can just listen to the rest.
Microphones. This is Custard TV Live.
This is Custard TV Live. Welcome, and although the jingle says that it's Tuesday, 8 o'clock, and it's Matt and it's Gary and Luke, it's not. Please accept my humbling and grovelling apologies. It's actually Monday. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's have a cheer for Monday. Yeah. Joining me, I'd say as always now, is Matt. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hi, Gary. I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not bad. I'm just going to turn the music off again because it's just one thing I can't really communicate, and you probably maybe will understand this. Although I'm fading the music down, it's still as loud in my ears. So although the listener doesn't hear it quite as loud, I can't hear it any quieter.
And I can't hear it at all.
No, you can't hear it at all. You're probably quite lucky there. I shall play the little jingle that says how you can get in contact with us on Twitter, and then Matt will do his hilarious bit where he will include his. So bear with me a second.
Follow us on Twitter at Luke Custard TV and at The Gary Show.
And
at Matt's TV Bites with 2 T's.
2 T's.
2 T's.
Yes, please. I'll have sugar with mine. Thank you very much. Welcome to a slightly different, well, only in its day and its time and everything like that, edition of The Custard TV Live, bringing you the best and worst of what is on the box in last week, next week, and in some cases for many weeks to come. Luke, who runs the website being thecustardtv.com, is still currently, how can we put this, preparing for a soft landing, I suppose. Is that what you'd say, Matt? I don't know.
I don't know, honestly.
I don't know.
Is he trampolining somewhere?
He might be. He might be trampolining. Obviously, he was a bit annoyed about being only an alternate to get into the jungle, so possibly he's, I don't know. Right.
Dancing on ice, maybe.
Dancing on ice.
But
I
then
can picture
be a
it.
soft landing.
No. Did you ever see the clip of Keith Chegwin separating his shoulder?
Yeah.
I actually found that quite amusing. I don't know why. No. Quite sadistically amusing. On the website at the moment, you can take part in our Best Drama of 2012 poll, and that's still running. It's running for another about 15, 16, 17 days. Matt's going to do a little update on that, but I thought I'd reveal exclusively at the moment who's winning. In third place is the recently cancelled Merlin, so quite a lot of Merlin fans out there. Joint second is the big heavy hitters, the Downton Abbey and Homeland, both recently on as well. One thing I've noticed that those 3 shows have either been on or are on at the moment. But number one, winning by quite a margin so far, is Sherlock.
Yeah.
So the show that's probably the oldest, if you don't count Endeavour, there, that was shown on January 1st. Sherlock was early January.
I think Sherlock actually was on the 1st and Endeavour was on the 2nd. So...
Yeah, something like... What? I got that wrong? Shocking, I got that wrong.
You can't remember dates in January, Gary.
Dates in January. I can't remember my own name, can I? So how am I going to do that? Just as a reminder for those of you listening that you can download this on iTunes. So if you've thought about this and thought, I must listen on Monday night, and then you forget and it's Tuesday and you don't know what to do, don't worry. By that time, the episode will be up on iTunes for you to listen to. And now I'm going to hand you over to Matt.
Hi.
Matt.
Yeah, this week's Twitter question was, or we should call it the social media question, I think.
Yeah, I need to update that.
Yeah, because Facebook gets quite a lot of love as well. And we asked what your favourite Christmas TV episode was, and we've had some responses. Firstly on the Twitter, we've got Daryl Miller, which is at Daryl, DARYL_Miller, says, my favourite Christmas TV show is A Child's Christmases in Wales on BBC4, which I don't know. Did you watch that one, Joe?
I vaguely remember it, but I don't know if I watched it. But I do remember that there was quite a bit of, not controversy, quite a bit of press about it at the time, or Twitter press, as it were.
And he also mentions The West Wing.
Yeah.
Christmas episodes. Makes a change.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
West Wing.
Yes, if you're doing your Aaron Sorkin bingo, you can tick off The West Wing, as been mentioned this week. I'm sure to mention The Newsroom and many others later on in the podcast.
Sports Night.
Sports Night, yes. Oh, that was great. Sorry. I might have to rent that again.
Spike Nesmith let's say.
Yeah.
At Spikester said, got to be Morecambe and Wise. Yeah, traditional.
Yeah.
Followed by the Christmas episode of Nightingales. I don't know that. Do you know that?
No, me neither. I'm gonna look that up while you go on.
And obviously Lauren Jones, the fan.
Stalker. I mean,
Lauren Jones 407, if you didn't know already, says the best Christmas special ever in capitals was the final 2 acts of The Office. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Brilliantly written and acted. And if I just add some Facebook, I've got one from Helen here who says the Father Ted Christmas special with the priest in the lingerie department, which I have to say is one of my favourites as well, if pushed. And then I've got a massive long message from Andy, basically breaking it down. He mentions Angie and Den, the divorce papers on Christmas Day in 1980.
Yeah, that was a good one, yeah. Remember that.
Royal Family, Denise going into labour, Only Fools and Horses, anything, all the Christmas specials. Vicar of Dibley with the 3 Christmas lunches. And Noel's Christmas Presents, which I believe has been revived recently on Sky.
Yeah, Sky do one like that. I don't know whether he calls it. I don't know if he calls it Christmas Presents, but yeah, there was kind of a tradition on Christmas Day, certainly throughout the 90s, that you would get Noel's Christmas Presents or Noel's Christmas Day thing on about 5 o'clock. So you'd have your Top of the Pops Christmas special, then there'd be the Queen, then it would be the film, which would normally be a family film, and then Noel's Christmas thing before EastEnders and Corrie.
Yeah.
So you can understand now why I've bought lots of DVD box sets. Nightingales was the thing starring Robert Lindsay, David Threlfall and James Ellis about 3 disparate. Is that a spelling mistake? Night watchmen in an office block somewhere in Britain. Their nightlife is surreal to say the least. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. But obviously, Nesmith does.
If you're listening, Spike, would you like to write a review of Nightingales and send it in, or just tell us a bit more about the show and why we should be watching it? Clearly, it's made an impression on you, but we've got no idea why.
Forgotten classic, maybe.
Maybe.
Which the Christmas theme obviously leads us nicely into news.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was known as a segue. Thank you, Matt. The BBC Christmas lineup has been announced. And some of the shows that they will be showing, some you probably know as their warm favourites, and a few here that we'll try and feel you on. I've got 3 L's in Call the Midwife. I'm assuming that's not because this is Series 3. I'm assuming that's someone's typing error, but yes, we'll swiftly move over that. So Call the Midwife, of which I think they've been re-showing some of the earlier series on Sunday afternoons to kind of gain the audience. I saw quite a bit on Twitter yesterday about that.
Also, that has actually been announced. That will be on Christmas Day.
Yes.
They've already been trailering it, so obviously they're trying to get interest in. And obviously they're going to try and put it up against Downton Abbey, I'm guessing.
Well, is it going to go up against Downton directly? Or are we still waiting for the...
They might put it on like half an hour early. Because I'm assuming this Call the Midwife will be an hour. And if it's the same as last year, Downton will be 2 hours. So,
Downton is a 2-hour special, is what I've read.
So if they put Call the Midwife on between like 8:30 and 9:30, and they start Downton at 9, I think they might be sneaky like that. That would be my.
Now, what this article has done up until at some point is it's doing one good show, one bad show. So yes, there's Call the Midwife, but unfortunately you have to sit through the awful Miranda.
I don't mind Miranda, but it is a lot of falling down. I suppose Miranda Hart is in Call the Midwife as well, so she is very busy. But Miranda...
Is she also dominating this Christmas? So
it's a new series of Miranda, which is starting with a Christmas special. So there's a whole new series to look for. Well, some people
for me to turn over. Yes, it probably will get 9 million viewers on BBC One. The royal family is returning for a Christmas special. I know Luke, if he was here, would probably bleat on about that until he could bleat no more.
I know,
but he nominated, I think, in his top 5 of comedies of all time. So when we did that podcast, so
make it into my top 5. But I think it's now found its place coming back, once a year for Christmas. I think it's good to just have it there. It's nice and safe, and it's just nice to have that like Christmas round the table
And the thing is, as well, by doing it every year, they allow the characters to grow, and therefore it makes it different. You know, I don't know. With Only Fools and Horses, I mean, even when they came back and did the later ones, they didn't seem to have ever aged. And I know they used to youth David Jason in those, you know, to make him look kind of more like Del Boy, and less like and less like Inspector Frost. So it's good that they've allowed these characters to age on television and everything. I think that's quite good. It's not something I'll watch, but I'm aware of how good it is. Something that I'm aware of how bad it is. There will be a Christmas special of Mrs. Brown's Boys.
And I think, again, that'll be on Christmas Day, probably after the Royal Family. To make people go to bed early, I'm guessing.
Yeah, indeed. I would hope that would be the one where they turn.
And again, like Miranda, this will be the start of a new series.
Oh, dear. Oh, well. Yeah, you know, fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like Mrs. Brown Boys, I shall allow you to revel in that. But just don't perhaps knock on my door at any time of night or day.
Most people in Ireland, it's I was talking to someone on Twitter because me and Luke was like having a conversation where we were both slagging it off.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, "Oh, I went into a pub the other day and like everyone was just sort of glued. With Mrs. Brown's Boys was on the telly, and everyone was like glued to it." So I think it's an Irish.
Was there an alcohol shortage or something? Did the beer tap stop working? What was going on? That's what you go to a pub to watch television, unless it's sport. My goodness.
In Ireland, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe in Ireland, I don't know. Maybe they just never... No, that's a slightly racist joke, I can't do that. Doctor Who. Yeah, it will be back. And, of course, the revival of the Jenna Louise Coleman character. I think I gave her the right name this time. Yeah, it could be because I'm looking at her at the cover of next week's Radio Times as well. It's a Christmas episode, so normally the Christmas episodes are very standalone, aren't they?
Yeah.
From Doctor Who. They don't tend to feature anything that then comes back, so it's going to be interesting that this time this is now the beginning of a new series and the beginning of the second part of this series and the beginning of a new assistant. That's going to be quite interesting.
Obviously, the Catherine Tate one, wasn't it? Where
she in? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was
that the one in the bus?
They did another series, and then they brought her back for the first series. So.
Right. Yes, you're right. Oh, well, there you are. I'm corrected on that one. Merlin will be finishing with 2 Christmas episodes, but they're not really Christmas episodes. They're more episodes that run around Christmas.
The finale.
Finale, indeed. A couple of new shows. Loving Mrs. Hatto, which I can only imagine is a misspelling, and it should be Loving Mrs. Stato.
No,
no, it's not.
No fantasy football league.
No fantasy football. No, okay.
I know. I've got down there starring Victoria Wood, but I think she's actually written it rather than
right.
She's actually in it, and I think Avril Molina's in it. It's about a couple.
Not Avril Lavigne. No.
Avril Lavigne. Yeah, she's also in it.
I prefer she's in it.
It's about a couple who grow old together, and then they pull off some sort of heist or something. But it sounds quite good. Victoria Wood's written it, and obviously she's always...
And Avril Lavigne is singing the theme tune, no?
Yeah. Writing the theme tune, singing the
theme
tune.
She's just a skater boy.
Like a 25th century Dennis Waterman. I've already said that about Avril.
A female Canadian version of Dennis Waterman. That's what this world needs. Also, there's Restless, starring Rufus Sewell. Do you know anything about that one?
Yeah, Rufus Sewell's in it. Actually, it's got a good cast. Hayley Atwell, Michelle...
Oh, right, yeah.
Michelle Dockery from Downton Abbey and Charlotte Rampling are all in it as well.
That's quite a name star.
It's about Michelle Dockery's character finds out that her mother, Charlotte Rampling, was a spy, or is still a spy and has been a spy for 30 years. And it's basically, it looks at her past and then the Charlotte Rampling character trying to sort of leave that life as well. So that'll be quite good. Something that isn't as like festive as the rest of it. If you like a bit of a break from all the rest of it, then Restless might be up your street.
Yeah, it sounds very different to everything else that's coming up. And then you got, if you like a bit of Attenborough, and we all know you do, a bit of Frozen Planet and all that sort of stuff. David Attenborough's Africa, and I think they're celebrating something like, I want to say 50 years, but it could even be more of Attenborough. I saw some stuff on BBC.
It is 50.
Yeah, and certainly, you know, it's good that they're putting on some different things. And then lastly, again, I can only assume that this is the film version of Who's That Girl? What's her name? On E4. Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, right, the
New Girl.
The
I'm assuming it's the second series of New Girl, and she's just now known as The Girl.
Yeah.
And in later series, she'll be known as Old Girl. No? Okay.
No.
This is a Hitchcock biopic. Again, we must be coming up to an anniversary of Hitchcock, because again, I've seen more and more programs featuring him, which is nothing but good.
Yeah, because they're doing
opinion.
a film. I think
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is playing him on the big screen, and this is Toby Jones playing him on the small screen.
So
and it's about his relationship with Tippi Hedren, who's been played by Sienna Miller. And I think Imelda Staunton is also in it as well, so it's good cast.
I think she's playing the woman who gets... Is it Janet Ellis, the woman who gets gets stabbed in Psycho, isn't she?
Janet Ellis, isn't that?
Is it Janet Ellis or something like that?
Janet Ellis from Blue Peter? I don't
Janet
know.
Ellis from Blue Peter. No, the woman who got stabbed in Psycho. So it's like that's what's her face's mother.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Richard Curtis. No, not Richard Curtis.
Tony Curtis.
Toby Curtis. Yeah, whatever, some sort of Curtis. I think I'll do the lineup for Strictly, because then you can do the ITV Christmas lineup, because I think actually then you've got more bits to talk about there that you know about, because looking down that list, I don't know that much. The Strictly Christmas special, which is after the final or before the final?
It'll be after. I think again Christmas Day. I think this is.
Yeah, this is another Christmas one. It'll probably be recorded when it won't be live.
Yeah. Tess Daly mentioned it actually on Sunday nights because one of the contestants who you're going to name in a minute was actually performing on the show on Sunday night.
Right. We did a bit of a with Strictly this week. We did a bit of I'll watch the Saturday, you watch the Sunday. Although it just kind of turned out like that. Former contestants we'll talk about very briefly, because these people you'll all know. Kelly Brook, who didn't finish a series. Natasha Kaplinsky, who famously finished a series and won it, and had an affair, and then no one ever knew who she was, and we're not sure if she's presenting the news anymore anywhere, or I don't know. Rachel Stevens of S Club. I'm doing all the singing this evening, sorry. S Club 7. Chris Hollins, a former winner. Colin Jackson, hurdler, who didn't win but got to very late stages.
Second,
I think he's second. And Chelsea Healy, I'm not sure if you pronounce it quite like that, but she was in it last year, I believe, and did quite well. Runner-up last year. Let's talk about the people who are in it new. And now, I don't know this, because obviously this is the first year I've really watched it. Do people who in this one then go on and perhaps begin it next year if they feel like they want to? Is this like a testing ground to see if I want to be in it?
The only person I think who's done that, as far as I know, is Fern Britton, who was on it a couple of years ago and was in this year's lineup.
I'm not really allowed to talk about Fern Britton on this podcast. I'm afraid my mother bans
Charlie Brooks, who we'll talk about later on, was on last.
Oh yeah, was she on it? I do remember that. And then there was a guy from McFly, wasn't there, who then went in the jungle.
Well, one of McFly won it last year, didn't he?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but I think the previous year at Christmas, I think one of them, not him, was on it, but then
not sure.
I don't know. I don't know. A member of McFly is bound to pop up somewhere over the Christmas period. The new contestants, Fabrice Muamba, for the uninformed, is a footballer who, if you were following the major press, about a year ago had a heart attack on the pitch. So let's hope the same thing doesn't happen, because then he wouldn't be particularly... But I believe he's a full recovery. I'm sure that Bruce will make some sort of heart attack joke, won't he?
But if he's dancing with, say, like Ola Jordan in one of her short skimpy outfits, he might have to...
We might have to have a
on hand, just in case.
JB from JLS. Now, my JLS knowledge is not very good, Matt, so I'm hoping that you know a bit more. Is JB the one that does the backflips?
No,
then he won't win.
Yeah,
that's Aston. So therefore, this bloke. I mean, I'm not sure which one JB is.
JB is the one who's got like the shaved pattern on his head.
That means nothing. Does he write the songs? Oh no, that's
also
Louis
the
Walsh.
One who was on this Sunday as well.
Oh right. Oh okay. Fair enough. Bobby Ball, rock on, Tommy. If he doesn't do a number that has those braces on, I'll be very disappointed. Very disappointed. Sheila Hancock. She must be about 90.
No, she's not. She was on. I don't know if you saw the other year when they did the Dorothy program. Andrew Lloyd Webber. She was one of the judges.
Oh, was she on that? Oh, yes. She is a bit of a thespian, a lovey, isn't she?
Yeah.
Formerly married to Inspector Morse.
Yeah.
And Katie Brown. Now, Katie Brown was on a series of So You Think You Can Dance, didn't she?
Let's Dance for Comic Relief.
Let's Dance for Comic Relief, where my friend Ian Lee was on, and
so
hilariously, he should have won. Ian Lee should have won. I'll state this now. I know I'm biased, but that was a blooming good routine that he messed up. Katie Brown was brilliant. She did Beyonce, didn't she? And everyone was amazed.
Yeah.
Isn't having Katie Brand on, and don't take this the wrong way, a little bit of a link to Lisa Riley? Slightly larger, funny woman. Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe, a little bit.
And then Helen Skelton is a Blue Peter presenter.
Yeah. Who I'm sure will be doing it on like a mountain or something, because she's always seems to be climbing something large or trekking across something, or so I'm sure she'll be doing it
making
with,
something with sticky back plastic
cast.
and making it with sticky back plastic and a couple of toilet rolls. So there you are. The Strictly Xmas lineup is now revealed, and you can go away and watch that. And we'll watch that. I suppose we won't be too much Strictly overload by then. I'm feeling a little bit of Strictly fatigue, but I can't believe there's 6 of them left. On now to the ITV Christmas lineup.
Yeah, okay.
Which Matt will reveal.
So Downton Abbey, which we've sort of talked about already, will be on 2 hours. I believe this one will see the upstairs lot, Hugh Bonneville, will be going off to Scotland, which means servants won't have anyone to serve, so that'll be interesting. Doors Open, which is a one-off drama, believe based on an Ian McEwan book. It's starring Stephen Fry and Douglas Henschel, who's in Quitley Hall currently, playing 2 people, unlikely robbers who end up carrying out like an art heist. Panto, which I think is a comedy drama written and starring John Bishop about pantomimes, oddly. Paddy's Show and Telly, which is obviously Paddy McGuinness, who I'm sure Gary's a big fan of, and his like sort of telly roundup. I'm not sure if this is maybe a pilot, trying to do like a new TV Burt, maybe.
I blooming hope not. I mean, yes, it'd be great if it was.
Age Edmondson's Christmas Crackers, which is a look at Christmas TV, like we've just been doing.
Well, that would be good, and nothing to do with the Christmas Crackers programmes that's on Sky One that we'll come on to later.
The nation's favourite Christmas songs, which is sort of self-explanatory.
Basically, a chance for Slade to make some money around this time of year, which they don't do every year, do they?
As well, though, there is also, I believe, talking of Slade, there's a Slade special on BBC 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Slade at the BBC, I think, the week before Christmas.
Okay. It's music, barely.
Yeah. That Dog Can Dance, which I believe is a Simon Cowell-produced doggy talent show.
Well, there's a shocker. Simon Cowell and dogs.
Pudsey figures in there somewhere, I think. And
I'm guessing.
Viva Forever, which is a documentary all about the Spice Girls. I don't know if Gary wants to see some Spice Girls. Singing a lot.
No, I need some...
No, move on.
No, I can't make it.
Worse than Ryland, move on.
Yeah, worse than Ryland, yeah, fair enough. No, but I was in tune. The Channel 4 Christmas lineup has also been announced. A repeat of The Snowman will shortly be followed by a new Snowman called The Snowman and the Snow Dog, which I think is another book by the same author. They love to show. I mean, you know, it's Christmas when things like The Snowman are on, and I saw The Miracle on 34th Street was showed yesterday.
And me, I watched that.
And it can't be long till Elf, and I know a lot of people say Christmas doesn't really start till Elf. Next Sunday, there you are. Christmas officially starts. Bad Santas? I don't know what that is. There was a film called Bad Santa.
People training to be Santas, I think.
Right.
Something like that. Something similar to Channel 4 did a documentary about Christmas lights last year, which I quite...
Oh, yes. I do
and I think
that was quite good.
In a similar tone to that, perhaps.
Yeah. Friday Night Dinner will have a special Christmas episode that isn't part of the series, because the series is now finished. Yeah. And both Gordon Ramsay, Hugh Fearnley-Whittinstall, and The Hoarder Next Door will have Christmas specials as well. I'm sure that the first two will feature exorbitant Christmas dinners. I mean, I remember Hugh Fearnley-Whittinstall do one where he roasted 7 birds inside another.
I believe it was 9, Gary.
Was it 9?
I think it was 9.
My memory was 2 birds short. So there you are. So I mean, obviously we'll be talking a bit about Christmas as the weeks go on, because obviously it's coming up, and we've talked a little bit already about your favourite Christmas TV. I mean, we'll talk about Christmas TV habits, because before we came on air, Luke and I were talking about the order of things on Christmas. The Top of the Pops Christmas special, the Queen's speech, which you have to be quiet for in my house. I don't know about you, but you have to stay quiet for the Queen's speech. Grandmother doesn't like it if you talk.
Yeah.
Particularly if I do my world famous impression, which I'll save for the Christmas special. I don't want to. I want to make people come back for that. Looking forward to that one. A little bit of news about some American pickups. We like to keep you informed about what's coming over from the stateside. And the Universal Channel has re-signed an agreement to bring both the next series of Psych and the next series of Royal Pains. It's the 6th series of Psych and the 4th series, of Royal Pains. And that'll actually also include a 2-hour Christmas movie. airing on the USA on December 16th, which won't be shown over here until the new year, probably spring. Also, the Universal Channel is going to show the 4th series of Rookie Blue, which is a police procedural, and the final series of a program called Breakout Kings, which I didn't realise, and I watched half the first series when I was on holiday recently, is a kind of a spin-off from Prison Break. Okay. And it does actually feature, in one of its episodes, it does feature Teabag.
Oh, I love Teabag.
The second or third episode of Breakout Kings, they have to track Teabag getting out of prison, and it's a brilliant episode. And he does the whole "hold my pocket, boy." Oh, it was wonderful. I almost stood up and cheered a television program. Couple of other ones that are out there. Sci-Fi have signed up a couple of programs. They're going to be showing the 3rd series of Lost Girl and the 2nd series of Continuum. They've also picked up some new shows, Defiance, Destination Truth, and have tentatively also put in the autumn 2013 premiere of Haven, which is one of their better shows. The other stuff I'm not too familiar with. On FX, they'll be showing the 3rd series of Braco, which is a great French program, very similar to The Shield, I think, actually, in its violence, quite good. And also, I suppose we ought to say that in early 2013, FX will actually rebrand and be called Fox. So they'll be adding an O to their name, and they'll open on their first night with the premiere of season 9 or 10 of NCIS. I think it's 10. Okay. It's series 10 of NCIS. And they've also bought the rights to 3 additional programs: Louis, which is an American sitcom starring Louis C.K., Men at Work, and Da Vinci's Demons. And it's also kept on to. I did notice as well that one FX show, I actually saw this on the side of a bus today, that Dexter is going to be shown on a cable channel called CBS Action from the beginning.
Okay.
If you've never seen Dexter, and you have
I've
CBS
never
Action.
Seen Dexter, no.
There you are.
Me. Hands up.
There you are. CBS Action. I think it's Wednesday the 5th. I think it starts. So set your DVRs for that one. So there you are. A little bit of a few. We've talked about some other releases from the States. So there you are. Caught up a little bit on that. Just very quickly, I'll quickly read out these other 2 as well, and leave Matt to do the BBC stuff. Sky Atlantic has announced a start date for Blue Blood Series 3. That's starring Tom Selleck. And that will start on the 13th of December at 10 p.m. My sister and brother-in-law really like that, so that's why I've included that news. Keep it in the family. It is important. And Channel 5 have acquired the rights to a Stephen King miniseries called Bag of Bones. The problem with Stephen King miniseries is they're either very, very good or they're very, very bad. The Stand was very, very good. The Langoliers was very, very bad.
Not seen either of them. Can't comment.
No, the Stand is quite good. It's quite a good horror miniseries, but The Langoliers was terrible. And now over to Matt.
Okay, and we'll finish the news section with some BBC acquisitions and pickups and what have you. Firstly, the announcement today, I believe, that they've bought the rights to the new J.K. Rowling book, The Casual Vacancy.
Right.
And they're going to hopefully make that into a show which will air in 2024.
Hold on. I've got it. Is that a book about being a sofa salesman?
Yeah.
The casual vacancy.
No.
Where's that tumbleweed?
But you said from those who've read it that it isn't very good. I don't know anyone that has actually read it.
I think it came through with a fairly lukewarm. I mean, obviously everything that woman does is kind of high profile because of the Harry Potter series, and it did kind of. I think it got onto some sort of lists, like the Richard and Judy reading list and things like that. But I don't. From what I've read of other people have read of it, and I haven't read it myself. They've said it's an average book. So the fact that the BBC have picked it up. I suppose probably the fact that the BBC have picked it up and it's not made it into a film adaptation probably should tell you something about its quality, because the big money is in films, and if it was that good, then a company would have picked it up, and they might still, but it's very rare that anything goes from TV to film these days quite like that, is it? So maybe an adaptation is better.
And 4 new commissions as well have been announced.
Okay.
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which we don't really know much about, apart from it's set during the Napoleonic Wars in England, where magic once existed and is about to return.
Brilliant. Well, I say brilliant. It's just that bit of reading there.
The 739, which is written by David Nichols, formerly...
That's the train I get. Is that about the train I get every morning?
Yeah. Two people meet and commute and fall in love on that train that you get.
Fantastic.
Written by
they
David
must be in the
Nichols,
next carriage.
Who started on Cold Feet and since wrote several books that have been turned into films, such as Starter for 10 and One Day, and it's like a romantic comedy drama. We'll have to wait to see what that one's like, because again, reading some of these premises makes them sound maybe worse than they actually are. There's The Game, which is a Cold War spy thriller set in the 1970s, and is written and created by Toby Whithouse of Being Human fame. So that might be quite good. And finally, Father Figure, which is a sitcom created, written and starring by Jason Byrne, who you'll know probably from some of the panel shows and maybe like Live at the Apollo and things like that.
He's quite a raucous Australian comedian. I think if you've seen Jason Byrne, you'll know who he is. Huh?
He's Irish.
I thought he was Australian.
No.
Oh, do you know what it is? I think there might be more than one Jason Byrne.
Jason Byrne's he's like ginger. He's Irish and he's ginger.
Oh, there's definitely an Australian one called Byrne. Then maybe I'm getting that mixed up.
Yeah.
Oh. Or maybe I just don't know accents. I don't know.
Something like that. Anyway,
maybe.
It's he plays like a slacker of a father, basically, and he's always getting into scrapes. So I'm not sure if that'll be any good. It might just be another bad BBC One sitcom, which I'm sure we'll slag off in the new year. So that's all the news, I believe, this week.
That's all the news, and Matt is quite right. Jason Byrne is Irish. Okay, now on to the world famous reviews section. This is a bit like the section in Nevermind the Buzzcocks when you have to do the next lines, except we talk about television shows. A quick bit about Strictly Come Dancing. The inevitable that Michael Vaughan was dismissed. I was surprised that when they did it, Bruce Forsyth didn't just raise his finger and say, "You're out!" In a cricket-related pun.
Well, he doesn't do the Sunday shows.
He doesn't do the Sunday shows, and Claudia Winkleman's too good for that kind of level of humour. So yeah, he was. Who was in the other part of the bottom two? I must admit, I didn't see the Sunday show. Nicky Byrne. So maybe the days are counting down for Westlife. We can only hope.
Well, but we did mention before we went on air that everyone bar Michael Vaughan got 30 or more.
Yeah,
so it is a very open competition at the moment. The score.
I think there's a tough decision coming in the next few weeks. Yeah. Someone good's going to go. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're all good now.
Yeah.
I mean, even Michael Vaughan was very good at slow dances. He just wasn't very good at the fast ones.
And Nicky Byrne's been up and down, hasn't he? But he's improved a lot in the last few weeks.
I'm still no nearer knowing who's going to win, because to me, Denise Van Outen is the best dancer, but you're right, it's not about who's the best dancer. It is a popularity contest at the end of the day. And you're right, I'm coming around to your thinking about Danny Harmer. Well, I just think, it's tough to keep up 39, so I don't think really that's all they've done is they've just dropped a little bit from where they were. I think even in previous years, my memory is that there have been 10s quite earlier in the series.
Yeah.
So it can't be easy to keep up.
Lewis Smith did well, didn't he, this week?
Yeah, Lewis Smith did very well. He performed a very, very good performance this week. And I think Lisa Riley was a little bit down from other weeks. I think it didn't quite have the same impact, her moves, as perhaps in other weeks. So I don't know. And I said to you, I'm getting a little bit of Strictly fatigue. I'm like thinking, there's still 5 people to go home or 4 people to go home. I really could do with a double eviction.
They do usually do a double. I think when there's 5, they usually do. Right. The semi-final goes from 5 to 3, and then there's 3 in the final normally.
Oh well, there you are. Well, maybe we'll see that. And of course, there is only sort of 3 or 4 weeks left in the year. I can't really talk about the X Factor because, as I mentioned in last week's podcast, and as I'm sticking to, I ain't watching it no more this year. So, Matt, over to you.
Yeah, it was a very, very dull semi-final. It's now gone that they've hardly got anything going on the stage. It's just a backstage, people singing, paper. Occasionally a choir will come on. I think it's because Brian Friedman, who was the sort of lairish choreographer, has gone to America now to work on the American version of the X Factor, leaving most of the stage very bare. I mean,
just reading the paper while you do this.
Were, on the whole, a bit pedestrian. I mean, James Arthur, who is I think both of our favourites now, left in the competition.
Some good stuff here about the Queen.
Did the best.
Sorry, I'm just reading the paper because I'm not bothered anymore.
Okay. And Union J left. But the best bit of the whole weekend of X Factor was the bit where Union J got Louis Walsh to dress up in like a green tracksuit onesie type number.
I only saw one bit, and it was when Louis Walsh was making a complete idiot of himself, like he normally does, when apparently somebody sang a song that Westlife covered, because that's all they did, and he was saying he just shouted Westlife continuously over the top of Gary Barlow.
I think
And
that's what
I
he does.
just imagine that's what he does continuously in his dressing room. Just shouts Westlife
Probably.
over and over
Maybe
again.
Boyzone occasionally.
Maybe Boyzone. We only have 10 minutes left on this show for you, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll very quickly talk about the winner of Hi, Miss Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, who was Matt. Not Matt, obviously, but Matt can now exclusively reveal the winner was...
Janine from EastEnders.
Janine! Charlie Brooks. Wouldn't it be great if Charlie Brooker could be an I'm a Celebrity?
Well,
He wouldn't ever do it, but
no.
that's fine. Who out of this series is going to come out of it the best, do you think? Who's going to be the most well-remembered?
For me, I would say Eric Bristow would be the most sort of well-remembered. I think he sort of captured the imagination of people. I think the people who do the best, though, Ashley Roberts of the Pussycat Dolls, because no one really knew who she was.
No.
The only
And she's
Pussycat
allegedly
doll,
dating Ant or Dec, or both, I don't know.
Nicole Schertz Bing 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 Bong was the only Pussycat doll we knew. And Helen Flanagan.
That's not
maybe.
true. There's not true. There's Ginger Pussycat Doll, Baby Pussycat Doll, isn't there? No, I'm getting me things mixed up there. Right.
Siamese Pussycat Doll.
Yeah.
And I think the lad from Made in Chelsea as well. I think made of like Mark Wright did last year.
Oh right, he might go on to do other stuff outside of his.
Well, I think he'd
his
already
comfort
left
zone.
Made in Chelsea. I think he'd left already. I don't watch it, but I think.
Do you really leave Made in Chelsea ever, or do you just move on? I don't know what the.
Because Mark Wright left Towie, didn't he? So, but yeah, I wasn't massively into this year's. I mean, I like the people on it, but there wasn't any like.
I think the problem was, again, some of the good people went early. I mean, Nadine Dorries was a good character, but she got voted out early. I think once Helen Flanagan left, I think a lot of people switched off. Not because
Lauren Jones wasn't a fan.
Well, that's right. Lauren Jones wasn't a big fan of hers. But I think you have to have... It's like all good series. I mean, for me, the wasted series of Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, was the year when they voted out Chris Eubank in the first week. I mean, Chris Eubank was comedy gold, and he was not in there long enough to come out with that.
Wasn't Chris
And that's
Eubank
the problem.
in that one that was like only a week long anyway, where Jack D was in it? I think.
No. He was the year after. He was the same year as when Vanessa went mad. But he was only there the first week.
Year. That's
was
Jack
it?
D. Yeah.
I thought no. Was that the same year? I don't know because that one was almost a comedy one, wasn't it? Because he was allowed to escape.
Jack D. I don't know why we're having an argument about this, but it was Jack D, Anthea Turner, Claire Sweeney, Vanessa.
We're gonna have an argument about this, but we've only got 7 minutes, so we're gonna have it off air. Talk to us about Fresh Meat, Matt, and why we're talking about it still.
Oh, Fresh Meat it's one of my favourite programmes of the year, and it ended last week. I mean, Luke loves it, Lauren Jones loves it. It's just so well written, and it finished with the will they won't they couple, Kingsley played by Joe Thomas from The Inbetweeners, and Josie played by, what was her name, from Heaven. Is it Kimberly Nixon?
Kimberly Nixon, well done. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm saying that. I've got absolutely no idea. I'm just saying yes because you know names and I don't.
They've always been the on and off couple, and something happened at the end of the episode where he thought maybe I'll get with her because he's got a girlfriend now, and then there was the thing with the character Oregon played by Charlotte Ritchie, who is very, very good to look at, who was having a relationship with a man who she'd already had an affair with his father. So that was...
the more you and Luke talk about this program, the more I think I actually ought to go back and watch it. So I might have to go out and get Series 1 box set at some point.
The reason I think people maybe turned off a little is the fact Jack Whitehall's in it. But he, over this series, has really sort of done his... I've really warmed to him as an actor. And in this series, in this final episode, he was trying to sort of keep the group together because they were all thinking of going off and doing other things, moving out of their shared house together. But it has just been... And Zoe Ashton, she was amazing as Vod, the sort of spaced out, druggy one. It's just... It is... I'll
see if I can find a cheap Series 1 DVD on the old
eBay.
It's
on 4OD, I think, Gary.
Is it still on 4OD? Oh, good grief, I'll have to go and have a look.
Series on 4OD.
There you are. That'll be something for me to do over Christmas. Okay. Something that we'd like you to do over the next week, ladies and gentlemen, is watch some of these new shows that we're going to talk about very briefly in our last minutes. What we'd like you to do is kind of watch these. There's not a lot of real new drama series, because of course we're right in the middle of December, but there are quite a few new series, or some stuff that's starting that's a little bit different, so we're going to talk about a few of these. First of all, over 4 nights this week, you can watch a 4-part drama serial on Channel 4 at 10 o'clock every night called The Fear. I'm going to watch the first one tonight, And hopefully by the time we get to next Wednesday's episode, yes, we're on a Wednesday next week, we can talk a little bit about this one. You haven't watched any previews of this one, have you? So I think this is going to be one that...
Channel 4 are notoriously a bit dodgy when it comes to previews, so I haven't this one down.
They don't let you in.
I think I might check it out. Peter Mullen's in it.
Yeah.
It's basically about a sort of gangland boss who starts getting dementia, just as like Eastern European thugs are getting on his turf, sort of thing. So, and I think it's all set in Brighton, if I'm correct there.
Yeah, that's. I did read that part, but yeah, unusual to do a 4-parter for Channel 4 like this. I don't know that they've ever really done this before that I can think of. I know that the BBC have done it with things like 5 Days, and ITV did it with programs recently.
Top Boy.
Sorry, yes.
Top Boy. They did last year.
Oh, Top Boy. Yeah, but was that over 4 nights?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because a friend of mine really liked Top Boy. I didn't realise that was done that way. Oh, well done. Something that Matt has seen a preview of, so you can talk a little bit about it, is new ITV drama, which starts on Wednesday night at 9 p.m, called The Town, which features Moriarty, I believe.
Yeah, Andrew Scott. Basically, not to give too much away, but he comes back to his hometown following a family tragedy, and it's all about what's happened since he's left. So his sister's a bit more reserved, his ex-girlfriend's moved on, and he's trying to sort of solve a mystery. And there's also a very good performance of Martin Clunes as the town sort of...
Yeah, the drunk town crier. I saw that. That looks intriguing.
He's not the town crier. Is he the mayor?
Oh, he's dressed up like a town crier in the promo. That's why I think he's that.
Robes. And also
really?
Mackenzie, who's Miss Marple, is in it as Andrew Scott's grandmother. So...
Excellent, Andrew Scott, another one who's making a ploy to be in every program. He was obviously in Sherlock, and he was in
Blackout.
He was in Blackout with Christopher Eccleston earlier this year. He was very good in that, in quite a small role actually in the end, when you think about it. But he's the lead in this, so that would be quite good for him. I don't know why I've put this television show down, but it just intrigued me. Don't know either. I was just looking for new shows. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like Channel 5 programmes where celebrities go off and do weird things, then Chris Tarrant's Extreme Whaleways. That's the Jonathan Ross promo, Whaleways. Could be well worth your viewing. It's at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. It's, up against a lot of things that we've already talked about, but hey, if you like that kind of thing. The doomed In-Betweeners USA is showing on E4 this Wednesday. Already been cancelled on MTV, so don't waste too much of your time with it, but it might be worth watching the first one, what I'll probably do, just to see if it's in any way comparative to the British version. If you like your arty stuff and you quite like Harry Potter, then A Young Doctor's Notebook starts on Thursday at 9 p.m. on Sky Arts. That stars John Hamm of Mad Men, and then Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe. I don't know too much about this. It's an adaptation of a Russian program. Yeah,
I think they're playing... I don't think they're doing Russian accents, but they're playing...
I hope not.
The same character, a Russian doctor. Daniel Radcliffe's playing the younger version, and John Hamm's playing the older version, and it's basically... I think it's John Hamm reading from the notebook that Daniel Radcliffe wrote when he was...
yes, that makes sense. Oh, that's pretty good. And it's interesting, some of the interviews that have been going on this week, Daniel Radcliffe said he's squeamish and he could never be a doctor, so that's quite interesting. Another kind of... I'm not sure where I put it down, but I'm sure there's some interest in here. Jamie and Jimmy's Food Fight Club starts on the 6th at 9 p.m. on Channel 4. I did see one of the adverts where they've tried to do like the first rule of Food Fight Club is you don't talk about Food Fight Club. That's poor. On Monday, because we're not on now till next Wednesday, I thought I'd let you know 2 shows starting one next Monday on ITV1. The Poison Tree, a one-off drama. Two-parter, but in the sense that it's not a series or anything like that. Do you know anything about that one? Have you watched any previews of that one or seen anything?
Preview yet. I think it's one of these psychological dramas that ITV do quite well about a young girl who comes to London and falls under the spell of some siblings, and it's done like we talked about that.
It's based on a book by Erin Kelly, who's a writer I've heard a bit about, so that might be quite good.
2 different time periods.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes, there's all sorts of different things on it. And with only 40 seconds left, the return of Sky One's Little Crackers, which is different celebrities doing stories. I think Joanna Lumley is one of the first ones I read.
Rebecca
That's returning on Monday also at 9 o'clock. So you have to get your DVRs ready. Now, we've got 30 seconds left, so the plugs are up again. So go to the website, thecustardtv.com. Matt's doing a fantastic job at keeping that all up to date with all the news while Luke is away. And follow us all on Twitter. That's at LukeCustardTV for Luke. Mine's at The Gary Show. And Matt's is at Matt's TV Bites. That's Matt with 2 T's. And we'll be back next Wednesday as the music finishes 3 seconds before the end of the day. Say goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, Matt.